Doubling a factory. Said out loud, that sounds like a cheerful expansion story. But NXP doubling its back-end plant in Malaysia? The way I read it, this is a defensive move, meant to secure a place for your own products in the age of AI. Behind the flashy AI boom, an old-guard company that has quietly carried automotive chips for decades just made a very big move. That's how I take this news. Welcome to Semiconductor News Decoded. I'm Ty, with 31 years inside the semiconductor industry, bringing you the real view from the factory floor. Today, we look at NXP doubling its assembly and test plant in Malaysia. By the end, you'll see how AI is redrawing where the money and the people flow in this business, and what the survival strategy of an automotive chipmaker actually looks like. Here's today's news in one picture. Imagine a long-established prepared food maker in a small town. Its signature product is everyday side dishes, the ones that land on the dinner table night after night. Nothing flashy, but it sells to supermarkets and school kitchens on a long promise. 10, 15 years of the same quality, delivered the same way. We'll lean on this kitchen all the way through the opening section. This maker is very good at cooking, but plating, boxing, and the final inspection have always run through its own workshop, plus a specialist packing contractor it has used for years. Leave it to the experts. The contractor is skilled and can handle real volume, so it was a comfortable relationship that lasted a long time. Then a huge boom arrives: premium desserts, high unit prices, fat margins, and orders climbing every month. For the packing contractor, no work is sweeter. It starts shifting its limited people and its limited equipment onto one luxury gift box line after another. Now the old maker starts to worry. Its everyday side dishes go into plain, simple packs. Low margin work gets pushed to the back of the queue. And one day, the call could come. We'd like to cut your slot starting next month. But those side dishes carry a promise that runs 10 years out. Without packing, food it has already cooked can't even reach the shelves. So the maker makes a decision: double its own packing plant and protect the boxing of its own products with its own hands. It's a hedge, so that whatever the boom of the moment happens to be, it can keep delivering what it promised on the terms it promised. From here, let me walk you through what this actually looks like in the real semiconductor industry. The company is NXP Semiconductors, a major chip maker headquartered in the Netherlands, strong in automotive and industrial semiconductors. It's the old prepared food maker in our story, a business where a single product has to be supplied at the same quality for 10 or 15 years at a stretch. On August 12th, NXP announced it had begun construction of a new plant at its assembly and test site in Petaling Jaya, Malaysia. It adds about 500,000 square feet of production space, taking the site to roughly 900,000 square feet, including the existing buildings. At full operation, output there is expected to more than double. The ramp is planned in stages from the first quarter of 2028. The new plant is designed as a highly automated smart factory with an automated material handling system, or AMHS, and advanced quality control technology. This is assembly and test, the step that turns a chip into a finished product, what the industry calls the back end, the packing plant in our story. Behind it is NXP's hybrid manufacturing strategy, combining its own plants with outside partners to strengthen supply control and geographic spread. The Malaysian site is positioned as the back-end catcher for the wafer output coming from VSMC, its joint venture fab in Singapore, and ESMC, its joint venture fab in Dresden, Germany. Now to the heart of it. The common reading is more capacity in Southeast Asia, supply chains diversified, good news all around. But what caught my eye was a different number. In 2025, NXP handled 87% of its assembly and test in-house. Only 13% went outside. That level of in-house work is, I'd argue, the key to reading this announcement. In the back end, there's a whole set of specialist subcontractors known as OSATs. They're the packing contractors in our story. And right now, the ground is shifting under their priorities. They want to point limited capital and limited people at AI back-end work, where the growth rate and the value add are both far higher. That, I suspect, is their honest position. Meanwhile, NXP's bread and butter, automotive and industrial chips, leans on mature packaging, old-fashioned wire bond and mid-range FCBGA. Wire bond joins the chip to the substrate with fine metal wire, a long-proven method chosen for its track record, not its glamour. If AI margins stay this good, the reason for an OSAT to keep investing hard in these unglamorous lines gets weaker year by year. That's where I see the seed of the risk. On top of that, automotive and industrial means supplying the same product for 10 or 15 years. Cars stay on the road a long time after they're sold, so the responsibility runs long, right down to service parts. Being told by a contractor with other priorities that a product simply isn't made anymore is not something you can live with. So NXP goes and secures the space its own products run through. The plan to settle at roughly 80% in-house and 20% outsourced from 2027 onward is, I think, exactly that. The timeline is telling too. VSMC in Singapore starts volume production in the first quarter of 2027, and the new Malaysian plant comes up in the first quarter of 2028. The back-end catcher is ready about a year after front-end wafers start flowing. That one-year gap is no coincidence, the way I read it. This looks like a supply network designed as one piece from the very start. Beyond Malaysia, NXP has major in-house back-end plants in Tianjin in China, Kaohsiung in Taiwan, and Bangkok in Thailand. A geographically spread, self-owned back-end network, holding down on the map the place its own products could otherwise be pushed aside from in the shadow of the AI boom. That, I'd say, is what this expansion really is. For Japan, the big users of automotive chips are the car makers. When a major supplier, like NXP, locks down its own back-end and builds out a long-term supply structure, that can be real reassurance for anyone who needs to keep building cars without interruption. The memory of production lines going quiet during the chip shortage a few years ago is still fresh. Let me pull the view together. As AI redraws where the money and the people flow in semiconductors, behind the flashy AI investment headlines, this kind of defensive investment is quietly moving forward. The real substance of a cheerful factory doubles headline is securing your own place in the AI era. Whether other automotive and industrial makers follow the same path is what I'll be watching. Wrapping up, NXP is doubling its assembly and test plant in Petaling Jaya, Malaysia, ramping in stages from the first quarter of 2028. Behind the plan to keep roughly 80% of assembly and test in-house is a clear aim, not to lean entirely on OSATs tilting toward AI, and to protect the supply of automotive and industrial products with its own hands. That's how I read it. That's all for today. I'll keep bringing you semiconductor news and analysis, so if you found this useful, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been Ty on Semiconductor News Decoded.